principalities and powers in heavenly places might be known by the church. Now, I read this. This is Ephesians chapter 3, verse 10. And I began to think about that star. And I spoke about earlier in the week about these men who came to find the Christ child, who by revelation, and the scripture just tells us that they were learned men, very, very wise. I've read books that talks about that they were possibly men who were of the lineage of Daniel, who the scripture says in the book of Daniel that him and his partners were 10 times wiser than all the other astrologers and stargazers that were there in the court of King Nebuchadnezzar. But nevertheless, by revelation of God, they knew that there was going to be a star in the heavens that was going to appear. And this star would lead them to the Christ child. And when they came to Herod, they said, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews?" And I read that in the book of Matthew, and I said to myself, it seems to me like that when they came to ask Herod that question, that they thought that, hey, there should be a big celebration going on in Jerusalem over this great event, the birth of the King of the Jews. And I think they were a little stunned that Herod the king didn't know about the birth of the king. Because they came and they asked him. And they said, "Well, where is he that is born King of the Jews?" And of course, we know that Herod, he lied like Herod would do, and he said, "Well, you go find him and bring him back to me, that I worship him also." We know exactly what Herod did. But here's the thing. Revelation of God. You see, the Apostle Paul, here in the book of Ephesians, he says that he received revelation from God concerning this great mystery about the church and about this age in which we live, called the dispensation of grace. And God revealed these things to him so that he would have the understanding that salvation is for all mankind. Whoever would receive this glorious news about this born-again experience that John tells us about in the Gospel of John, that Jesus said to Nicodemus, "You must be born again," which I just believe that's a time when a spiritual quickening and awakening happens in the heart of a person. They become aware that not only is God spiritual, but they are spiritual, and that we as spiritual people can connect with a spiritual God. But this is all very seemingly mysterious. But God has given us much revelation of it, as he's revealed it to these learned men, the Apostle Paul, and many others, through the pages of God's precious word. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.